So before this resin sets up, which it's going to soon if I don't hurry up. I don't really want much on this side. I need to put a bit over it. Resin right up to there. Right, so I've got a little bit to go in. There's a little hole there, little nose hole, little void or dimple, whatever you want to call it. Tiny little low spot. So I just want a little build up on that before I do anything else. I want that bit to go on there. So predominantly on the right hand side there, with the wisps just sitting over the left. And what's going to happen now, once I've finished this, is I'm going to have a load more sanding to do. Yay! But what we should get is a nice little build up here. Resin ain't going to last much longer. I didn't mix it up too hot because I know what this is like. It's you know, it always takes longer than you think to get the glass on. I'm not doing big areas, so I mean, if I was doing a big area or a flat surface, I could just pour it out over the surface, spread it all out. It gives you a lot longer to work with it. You know, you roll it out, use a roller to wet the cloth out, you know, you can make it a lot quicker. But because I'm doing a small vertical surface, I'm using a small brush and little amounts to try and keep it manageable. But it's quite fiddly little bits to get round, and that all takes time. Out. Starting on the sides, I want to have a feel as to if I can feel it's lower than the other side. I can't run my hand across it, obviously. That don't feel too bad. But I'm not going all the way out to the edge because I want to blend it into there. So the wispy bits are just going off to this side. I'm just trying to build up this centre section more to the right side than the left. I was hoping to get this on, slap some gel coat on, let it all set up as one, so that I haven't got to do so much sanding in between layers, but it's not looking like that's going to happen because I'm running out of time. So I can see that dimply area there has disappeared. There's a little low spot there, so that's gone. So that worked well. I'll go back over this and see if it's a little bit more tacky, if it'll stick. And what's happening is as I push that bit down, it pops up there with a bubble, so it just sort of moves along. So yeah, that's not really worked, so I'm gonna have to redo this bit. I'm gonna have to grind that out and start again. It's just a low spot from there to there. I've filled the top and it's just not enough. There's a little low spot there. That's starting to tack off now, so the egg comes out, looks perfect, and then slowly it just comes back again. Now, I might be able to get it if I had another, God knows how long to sit here, pressing it down as it dries, but I just don't think it's going to work. It's just that ridge there, yeah, it's coming back, it's just making it worse. So that ain't worked, so I'm going to have to redo that. The beauty about fiberglass is, you know, it's I can grind that out and just redo it. It's, you know, just go back over. So I'll get my grinder out, blast along that section there, smooth it out, put a bit of filler in there, and then glass over it again. Bit of a pain in the butt because it basically means I've wasted my flaming time doing that. So the only thing I've done is fill at this end and this bit here. Yeah, never mind. That's just how it goes. I'm going to have to leave that because it's used up too much of my time. How are we looking? Right, the resin ain't pooched yet, so it ain't going to be long. It's definitely thickening. There's some stringy bits there. That's just where glass has got back into it. It's not set resin yet. It's not gone off yet. It's still liquidy, so we're still good at the moment. But I know I ain't got long at all. I've really not got long at all. And this is going to set up. Probably not quite so important this end to match the radius as the other end. You know, I can sort of lose it a bit at a time, if you know what I mean. As long as it matches here, it won't notice as much here. So I want it all as good as I can get it. Too heavy. It's just going to keep falling off. Let's do it this way. Tear it off. Stick that on. The bigger the piece, the more weight it's got, it tries to fall off. So I'm just going to make life more manageable, he says. You can pre-wet your cloth sometimes and stick it up, but I find with CSM, you know, obviously as soon as you put your resin on, it starts breaking down the bonds that holds it together, and you're trying to lift up a bit of glass that just starts falling apart in your hands. So I prefer to just stick it up whole if I can. Obviously if you're doing a large area, I'll break it into smaller pieces and do it that way. You know, sometimes you want one bit of glass, but sometimes it just ain't possible. I'll say this is just to fill this corner, this edge, and change the radius and blend it into that side. So it's not structural. It's, you know, this is solid. Everything's made. That's as is. I'm pretty much just using this to filler it now and change the shape, because I basically ballsed up. I made it slightly different to the others. It's not quite the same. I've got to alter it. The only way I know to do it is like this. And of course, trying to get the resin on upside down underneath there makes a right old mess. Nearly done now. Resin's getting full of fibres and strands where that's all dropping into it. And all that adds to it kicking off and turning to jelly faster. So I'm confident that hopefully this should alter the front good enough to match the other one, because the last layer looked pretty close but not quite there. Just wasn't quite perfect, like, you know. This bit's halved, it's torn in half, so I'm just going to put the first layer on, bit of resin. Put the second layer on. This is 600 weight cloth basically. If you split it in two, you've got 300 weight cloth. 600 weight, I can do one layer instead of having to do two. So now what I've got is I've got a line there, which I don't really want a line, but so I can sand it, I'll move it around, I can alter it, it can all be changed. It's starting to go. It's full of stringy bits. It'll all go back in. I've still got liquid resin, so I'm not boat building, I'm just fillering basically. Changing the shape one bit at a time. I'll take the wispy bits, quickly go over this bit here. This is going to kick off any second now. I can feel it, so I'm going to go right over the top, push that way so I can grind that edge off. Right over the top of all of that. This is really last seconds now, I'll really hurry up. So what I'm trying to do is just build that up so this side's higher now, and what I want to do is just go right across the lot to tie it all into one. So it's all the same sort of level, and give myself enough to be able to sand next time. So when I come down I can run the sander over it and I've got plenty of material there to work with. That is going off. It's not set, you can see the resin's still runny. It's full of chopped strand fibres basically, so it's why it looks a bit thick at times. I can see that it's not actually going off though. Like I say, temperatures, I think about 10 degrees today, so I've got a bit of working time. I didn't make it too rich on the old catalyst. As I said before, I didn't want too much build up on this left side, but I need to tie the two across. Most of this will be sanded back to make this more uniform. I don't know if I should put a little bit more there. I might just do that quickly if I've got a second. A little bit of resin there. I need to get this rolled out fully before that goes off. So I'm just using these little wispy bits, these strands that I've got left over, just to blend that out towards the edge of that locker, because I don't want to make a line down the middle there that then sticks out like a sore thumb. There we go. Right, that's about done, I reckon. So now what I should have is a smooth level surface from one side to the other, hopefully. I say it's going to need sanding to shape. Glass sticking up there. pull that bit out. So if I'm a bit high in the middle, it won't matter because it'll just allow the sander to run across both surfaces and flatten that out. And that'll be perfect. Well, I've got to go in a minute, it's nearly 10 o'clock. I was planning on leaving at 9, but I was talking, so that won't happen. I've got to stay a bit later to get done what I wanted. Unfortunately, I'm out of time and I haven't got time to finish what I wanted. I wanted to get some gel coat on this so I could sand the gel coat, but obviously I'm not going to be able to gel coat this because it's far too wet. If I try and gel coat it, I'm just going to be pulling the glass around and introducing air bubbles all over the place. I'll have a little low spot in the middle there now, but I really am running out of time. I say, yeah, I could build this out of filler, sand it to shape, and paint over it. That, you know, that would do the job. But the way I see it, you know, maybe I don't know, a year, 2 years, maybe 3 or 5 years. That filler's going to crack eventually and start breaking up. Whereas the way I'm seeing it is fiberglass will be as one. You know, it shouldn't, hopefully, crack and break like filler would. That's my theory. So, hence I'm building this out of glass and not filler. One last time, pressing that down into there. If it stays, great. If it don't, like I say, next time I'm down, we'll be grinding that out. That's not going to stay. No. It's fine there, just this bit here. 6 or 8 inches there that's gone wrong. Never mind, it happens. Right, the bottom's good. I'm happy with that. Still got a bit of liquid there, so I might just put it on there. Just to blend that across. It's a bit like chopped roundy bits, just to blend that in. Bit of build up on that centre. I don't want any more on the top, there's plenty up there. Beautiful. Get a little bit more up there, that'll be great. Just to build that. Just using up the last of my resin before it goes off, basically. That ain't going to be long. So the temperature's down, so this will take a while to set up, to be fair. It is not ideal temperatures for working in. I have had the heater on here, so it will help, but obviously I'm going to go soon and take that heater with me. I can't leave the heat on. Whew. Low spot in the middle there. I'm just going visually on what I can see. Just trying to work it out, so I've got less work to do in the future. This ain't going to be perfect. I can't bring this out to match that. I'd have to make, yeah, this part will be nearly, well, half to 3/4 of an inch thick. That'll put too much weight on the boat if I do that all over. You know, far too much weight. And it's above the water line, so it's extra weight, you know, higher up that I don't want. There's a little board there. Look at that. Oh, that in there. A ball of resin that's dropped, picked up there. Right, that'll do that. I'm not rolling this like I normally would, I'm just trying to spread it out like a filler. That's it. Right, now I can roll the air out. I'm still not racing around with the roller, but yeah, I was just trying to move the glass to where I want it. I can see where it's definitely high and definitely low, and I was just trying to reposition the glass quickly before we go off. That's gone nicely, so I'm happy with that. And although it's not perfectly filled level with this surface up here, it brings it a little bit closer than it was, you know. It's not going to be perfect. The boat's not perfect. It weren't built perfect from the factory. I can't make it perfect. I'm not a boat builder. There's too many imperfections with the boat. It's a 1970s boat. It's the same age as me. I ain't perfect. Why should the boat be? All I want to do is make it nice. I want to do my best, try and get it right, you know. So this might take a while to cure because it's, like I say, temperature's not as hot as it should be. It's only 10 degrees C. I think 16 is about where you want it. But it will go off, you know, it might just take a little while. I don't want it getting damp into it, but it should be fine. At the end of the day, I've just, you know, I've got to do it. I haven't got much time, I need to use what I've got. Oh, there's a bit there, I don't like. Something's got it there, there you go, good crap. I can see it, couldn't get it out. So if I need to put a little bit of filler on this, which I probably will because I've got to lose the lines, that will happen when I need to, but for now I'm just trying to build it up with glass. Right, there. That's me done. Bit of acetone. I'm just going to wipe this over one of those bits. Hold that. Strand sticking out there. Just pulled that out, caught a little strand that was sticking out. There's a couple of wispy bits here which I'm just leaving because I'll sand them off next time. That's it. Right, it'll clean up and get out of here. I've got a lot of editing to do. I've done a load of sanding yesterday and my glassing today, so I managed to actually do and finish what I set out to do. My roller clean and minimal waste. I've got a tiny little bit of resin there. I didn't get to tie in the bottom. I've got a whole section there, big bit to do, but we'll do that another day. I'll put that out of the way for now. I was hoping to do that today, but I'm out of time. It's nearly 10 o'clock, so I've got to get home. My stirrer, that over there. So, I don't usually waste acetone to clean brushes, other than the fact I've got it out anyway. So I need to clean my rollers. So whilst I'm cleaning my rollers, I might as well use that acetone as much as possible. So all I've got to do is clean my brush in the acetone, give it a wipe over, Mind you don't flip that in your eyes. And that brush is done and good. It's taken me no time at all. And I'll be able to use that next time. All I do next time I come down, that will probably be hard but not set. So I put in some acetone and it all goes soft again. Job's a good one. Works absolutely fine. I've been using brushes for ages like that. You know, I know a lot of us just use them and throw them away. I'm just thinking of the environmental impacts. You know, if I can reuse that brush for as long as possible, it's got to be better for the planet, isn't it? So there we go. Right, we're all done. I'm absolutely covered in bits of fiberglass. Can't touch my phone just yet, but there you go. So pretty much done what I did last time. I had all this to shave off and sand down. I've sanded it down. I've put a bit more glass on, and now I've got to do it all again. But what we've done is we've built up this section here, so hopefully that will flatten off. I've built up this front section here. It's looking more like that one now, so hopefully that might do us. I just need to make it blend into that one so that it all looks the same. And then we've got to start on that one, tie them two together, so that'll be the same as this. A little build up in the middle, working out, covering the lot, tying the top section, and job's a good one. Right, I've got to get out of here. Thank you all for watching Life of Dave, and I'll catch you all next time. Bye for now.